After World War II, the dollar became the most vital way people trade things around the world. Many countries use it as a kind of money they keep in case they need it, and it's the most used money for buying and selling things between different countries. This helps the United States because they can borrow money from other countries without trouble, and they can also make rules about money that affects other countries. But have you ever wondered what makes the dollar the top currency in the world? Let's find out. The dollar, a common currency today, has a fascinating origin story. In the past, people used various things as money, like shells and animals. Early forms of currency were a bit unusual. Then came the Spanish dollar, often called pieces of 8, in the 16th century. These silver coins became widely accepted as a global trading currency. The United States got its own dollar much later, in 1792. This was when the US Mint was established, and the first official coins were made. The dollar got its name from the thala, a silver coin used in Europe. The Spanish dollar had a significant impact on the birth of the US dollar. The US adopted the Spanish dollar as a common currency, and even the dollar sign is believed to have been inspired by the Pillars of Hercules on the Spanish dollar. The influence of Spanish colonial currency extended to early American trade and finance, shaping the US monetary system. Today, the US dollar is one of the world's most widely used currencies, with a rich history dating back to its early forms. In the early American economy, slavery played a significant role. Slavery began in the early 17th century, when the first African slaves were brought to the English colonies. Over time, slavery became a cornerstone of the Southern economy, particularly in cash crop agriculture like tobacco, rice, and cotton. Slaves were forced to work on plantations, which provided cheap labor and boosted the profits of Southern landowners. Slavery was deeply intertwined with the economic foundations of the United States until the 13th Amendment abolished it in 1865. The dollar as we know it today has roots in the slave trade. During the late 18th and early 19th centuries, when the United States was still a young nation, the US dollar emerged. Many Southern banks issued banknotes that were tied to the value of enslaved people as collateral. The buying and selling of slaves were reflected in the monetary transactions of the time, underlining the dollar's connection to the slave trade. The Southern states' dependence on slavery contributed to the development of a two-tiered economy in the United States, with the North and South pursuing different economic interests. The economic disparities caused by slavery played a role in the tensions that eventually led to the American Civil War in 1861. The aftermath of the Civil War saw the end of slavery, but left a complex legacy that continued to shape the nation's economy for years to come. In the 19th century, the gold rush was a big deal. People rushed to find gold in places like California, hoping to strike it rich. The value of gold was widely recognized, and this led to the creation of something called the gold standard. Under this system, paper money could be exchanged for a specific amount of gold. It provided stability to the economy, as people had confidence in the value of their money being tied to a tangible asset like gold. However, the gold standard also had its share of controversies. Some people argue that it limits a country's ability to manage its own money supply, which could be a problem during economic crises. Critics believed it was too rigid. Eventually, as economies grew, countries found it hard to keep up with the supply of gold needed to back their money, and the gold standard became impractical. If you're enjoying this content, don't forget to hit that subscribe button and stay updated with more videos like this. During the Great Depression in the 1930s, the strain on the gold standard became too much. Many countries abandoned it, as they couldn't keep up with the demand for gold during such difficult times. This move allowed them to have more flexibility in managing their currencies. Moreover, the petrodollar and US foreign policy are tightly connected. To understand this link, let's take a closer look at its origins and consequences. The birth of the petrodollar happened in the 1970s. Oil-producing countries, especially those in the Middle East, began trading oil in US dollars. This made the dollar the global oil currency, and it had a profound impact on the US economy. As a result, the US became the center of the world's financial system. Next, OPEC's role in dollar dominance became evident. OPEC, a group of oil-exporting nations, played a significant part in maintaining the dollar's supremacy. They agreed to price and sell their oil exclusively in dollars. This meant that countries worldwide had to stockpile dollars, boosting their value and ensuring continuous demand. Now onto the crux of the matter, US foreign policy and the petrodollar connection. The United States, thanks to the petrodollar system, could print money without worrying about inflation. This allowed them to fund military ventures and foreign policies with ease. Moreover, it gave them leverage over oil-producing nations, strengthening their influence in global politics. However, the geopolitical implications of dollar hegemony should not be underestimated. The US's ability to use the dollar as a weapon in economic sanctions or international diplomacy has shaped the world's power dynamics. In 2008, the world faced a devastating financial crisis. It all began with a housing bubble burst in the United States. People couldn't repay their mortgages, banks were in trouble, and the crisis quickly spread worldwide. The dollar played a significant role in this catastrophe. As the world's primary reserve currency, many countries hold vast amounts of dollars in their foreign exchange reserves. When confidence in the dollar waned due to the crisis, it had a domino effect on economies globally. People lost their jobs, businesses collapsed, and the world plunged into recession. Currency manipulation and trade imbalances are other areas where the dollar's role becomes apparent. Some nations artificially manipulate their currencies to gain a competitive advantage in international trade. This manipulation can create imbalances affecting global commerce. The dollar's dominance amplifies these issues as it is the primary currency used in international transactions. Moreover, the dollar-centered global economy's fragility is a growing concern. If the dollar were to weaken significantly or face a crisis, it could trigger a domino effect, affecting economies worldwide. This highlights the need for a more balanced, diversified international monetary system to reduce dependency on a single currency. Now let's explore the complex web of dollarization and neocolonialism in simple terms. Dollarization, the process of a country using the US dollar as its official currency, can have a profound impact on developing nations. While it might seem like a pragmatic choice, as the dollar is a stable and widely accepted currency, it can limit a country's monetary policy flexibility. This means that when economic shocks occur, governments in dollarized countries have fewer tools to address them. They cannot simply print more money or devalue their currency, which can make it challenging to stimulate economic growth or combat inflation. Dollarization also raises concerns about economic control and neocolonialism. When a country relies heavily on the US dollar, it becomes more vulnerable to US economic policies and fluctuations. This dependency can lead to a form of economic neocolonialism, where powerful nations exert influence over the economic policies of dollarized countries. In essence, these nations can indirectly control the economic destiny of the developing countries, leading to questions about sovereignty and self-determination. Moreover, the social and political implications of dollarization are significant. The loss of control over monetary policy can trigger inflation, poverty, and social unrest. Politically, it can erode national sovereignty and spark public discontent. But do you know what counterfeiting is, and why has counterfeiting dollars been a historical problem? Counterfeiting, or making fake money, has been a challenge for centuries. It's not just a modern issue. People have been creating counterfeit dollars and other currency for a very long time. Back in the day, when money was made of paper, it was easier for counterfeiters to produce fake bills. However, even with today's advanced technology, counterfeiting remains an issue. In our modern world, the technology used by counterfeiters has become more sophisticated, making it harder to detect fake bills. Modern challenges include advanced printing techniques and the use of special inks and paper. Governments and organizations must continually update their security measures to protect the integrity of their currency. Also, organized crime is attracted to counterfeiting because it can be highly profitable. Fake money can be used to fund illegal activities, and criminals are constantly investigating how to make easy money. Understanding the historical context and the modern challenges in combating counterfeiting is essential for authorities to stay one step ahead of organized crime and protect the value of our currency. Now, let's explore the future of the dollar. In today's global economy, the dollar stands as the world's primary reserve currency, but its future is not set in stone. Emerging alternatives to the dollar, like the Chinese yuan and cryptocurrencies, are gradually gaining ground. These alternatives are challenging the greenback's dominance on the global stage, providing more choices for international transactions and investments. However, the dollar faces several challenges as well. Mounting national debt, political uncertainties, and economic instability can erode confidence in its strength. In addition, the rise of other currencies could reduce the dollar's share in international trade, potentially reshaping the financial landscape. As we look ahead, various scenarios for the dollar's future emerge. It could retain its supremacy, adapt to coexist with other currencies, or decline gradually as a global reserve. The path it takes will depend on how it navigates these emerging alternatives and addresses the challenges it confronts. The dollar's fate will undoubtedly shape the course of global finance in the years to come. So, the dollar's legacy is a complex and ongoing topic. It has played a significant role in global economics, but debates persist about its future role. Examining the dark aspects of its history adds depth to our understanding, and the dollar's influence remains both powerful and debated, making it a pivotal subject in the world of finance and international relations. To stay informed, subscribe to our channel for more insights on global finance and economics.